Good afternoon. I'm California State Treasurer Fiona Ma, and I would like to welcome you to this CalABLE webinar. As State Treasurer, I believe that CalABLE is an excellent financial tool for Californians with disabilities. For the first time, eligible individuals on means-tested benefit programs can save up to $100,000 without having their benefits impacted. CalABLE is a game changer, providing people with disabilities a low-cost, tax-advantaged way to save and invest for a better financial future. I am committed to promoting this program and for doing all that I can to continue to help people with disabilities strengthen their financial position to achieve a better life experience. Thank you for joining us today and for your continued support of the CalABLE program. I will turn things over to the CalABLE team to begin today's webinar. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining today's webinar. We are going to begin our webinar with the session on getting answers to your CalABLE questions. We are having this because we have always receiving questions, and today we want to be providing you a tool that will help you answer some of these questions but without always having to contact the call center. So we hope that this webinar today will be a source of information. So we'll go to the next slide, please. We have a poll that we always like to ask everybody. So Madeline, if you want to read the poll choices.
Sure. So this poll is just to help us get to know who is on the webinar today. So please answer if you are an account owner, maybe you're an authorized legal representative who is managing the CalABLE account for somebody else. Maybe you are a state employee or a service provider who is here to learn some more information to help your clients. Or maybe you are a potential CalABLE participant. So we'll give just a few more seconds for everybody to answer this poll. Okay, I'll go ahead and end the poll and share the results. I see that we have a lot of parents and guardians of potential CalABLE participants on today, 27%. Also, a lot of potential CalABLE participants as well at 11%. So very glad you're here, and hopefully we'll answer your CalABLE questions today, and then you can go and open an account after this webinar. And then for those of you who are already account owners and authorized legal representatives, that's about 30% of everybody on today. Welcome. You'll definitely be learning some good information to help you manage your CalABLE account today. And then we also have a good number of state employees and service providers on as well, 4% and 13%. So welcome. You'll definitely learn some good information. Okay, and then we have one more poll. Let me go do that. So have you attended a CalABLE webinar before? Really easy, yes or no. Okay, I will end that poll, share these results. So we actually have a majority today who have never attended a CalABLE webinar before at 58%. So welcome. You'll get to see how our webinars go. This is a monthly webinar series. So we'll also be hosting one next month as well. Definitely, join us again. And then for those of you who have returned, 42% of you, thank you for coming back. And now I'll turn things back over to Anne.
Thank you so much, Madeline. And I'm so happy that we have some new attendees. Again, hopefully this will give you some information. For the people that have been at our webinars before, we are going to do a little bit of repeat. We're just going to kind of talk a little bit about the basics. It just helps everyone understand the program. So we're going to go ahead and start with our basics. Next slide, please. So just to let you know that CalABLE is a savings and investment program for people with disabilities. This helps people save for their future while protecting their benefits. So if somebody is receiving SSI in particular, this is a safe place for people to save money. If you're receiving other benefits, it's also a great place for you to save money. Let's go to the next slide. who is eligible. Right now, it is if your disability occurred before age 26. That age is going to be increasing in January and not too far away. So we will be able to have more people who have a disability prior to age 26, but that will be occurring in January of next year. If you are currently receiving SSI or SSDI and you have a disability before age 26, you are automatically eligible to open a CalABLE account. If you are not receiving benefits, you can still open a CalABLE account, although we would ask that you consult Social Security's publications. They have two. One is the Blue Book listing and the list of compassionate allowances. And if your disability is in either one of those publications, you are eligible to open a CalABLE account. We also encourage you to have a letter from your physician stating that your disability occurred before age 26. This is not a requirement, but we do recommend it. We'll go to the next slide. As I said, especially if you are receiving SSI benefits, currently you are only able to have $2,000 as an asset, but with a CalABLE account, you can actually have more money and still keep your benefits. If you are receiving, or if you have CalFresh or even HUD, you can still have a CalABLE account. And also, if you are receiving Medi-Cal, you can still also have a CalABLE account. We'll go to the next slide. So how much can you contribute? Currently in this calendar year, January through December, you can contribute up to $19,000. That is a general contribution that can come from third-party contributions. If you are receiving SSI and your account grows up to $100,000, at that point you would need to do a spend down if you wanted to maintain your SSI benefits. If you are not receiving SSI benefits and you really want this to be a savings and investment type account, you can contribute up to $529,000 into your CalABLE account. CalABLE does track this, and as you do get close to those limits, we will let you know that you are close to your limits. We'll go to the next slide. So investing for your future, why is it important to have a CalABLE account? Well, the sooner you start, the sooner you can start saving for your future, start planning that nest egg. We do have 8 different professionally managed portfolios. We work with Schwab, Fidelity, and Vanguard. Those are our portfolio managers, so very reputable firms. If you keep it in there for the long term, your wealth will grow over time through those compound earnings. And we do have some fees that are associated to this account. We do have an annual fee. This is an annual fee that's taken out quarterly, and it's $30 per year. And then there are some additional fees depending on which portfolio options you select. You don't have to pay any state or federal taxes, which is a great way to save on any of the earnings in the account, because these do grow tax-free. And you can also use this account for what we call qualified disability expenses. And if you make any withdrawals from the account for those related expenses, there are no penalties to your accounts. We'll go to the next slide. So we have a poll here. Madeline's going to read them for you.
Let me launch this poll. Okay. So we want to know, what are you saving for? Maybe you're saving for a first home, maybe education expenses, maybe a service dog or service dog related expenses. Maybe you're saving for technology or equipment, an accessible vehicle, health and wellness, or recreation and vacation. So please just take a few seconds to fill out this poll. Okay, I'll go ahead and end it and then share these results. And since you could select multiple options, these percentages aren't going to add up to 100%. But But I see a lot of people are saving for health and wellness. So 40% of people are. First home is also another large savings category. So that's really exciting. That's a big expense. Very exciting. Recreation and vacation is another big expense as well. So is education at 19%. And we have some people saving for a service dog, some also saving for an accessible vehicle, and then a lot of people saving in that other category. So definitely, let us know. There's a survey at the end of the webinar, so let us know what you're saving for. We love to see all those fun purchases that everybody has planned. And this question is not a trick, by the way. These are all things that you can use your CalABLE account for. So I'll turn things back over to Anne to talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Madeline. As we mentioned just before the poll, you can actually use your money on what we call qualified disability expenses, and there is no penalty to use your money on any of these expenses. So what is a qualified expense? And it's really anything that's going to improve your health, your independence, or quality of life. If you can answer yes to one of these questions, then that expense is eligible to be used from your CalABLE account. The categories you see on the screen are just that. They're just categories. They are not all one, you can only use these. These are just some guidance. This actually comes from SSA. They do have a list, and so we're going to review some of these. Education, you can definitely use your CalABLE account for any education-related expenses. I know school is just starting, so if we have anybody that's attending school, books, tuition, tutors, maybe they need some excessive equipment, or whatever you may need, you can actually use your CalABLE account for that. If you are a job seeker and you need some additional training, you can use your CalABLE account for that. We saw a lot in that health and wellness, and where we hear a lot is dental services. So oftentimes we hear people using their CalABLE account for dental related expenses. One that I heard recently was a parent used their CalABLE account for a humidifier. Again, that's a wellness issue. So really it's just a very broad category. Let's talk basic needs, including food. That's always a great topic. Everyone asks, well, can I use my CalABLE account? Let's say I want to go grocery shopping. Yes, you may use it for that. What if I want to go have coffee with my friends? Yes, you can use your account for that. So you can use it for multiple things. Recreation and entertainment, that's always a fun one. We talk about vacations. Again, if you were going to go on vacation and you needed a caregiver to assist you on your vacation, you could use your CalABLE account for that. Again, does that expense answer the question of does this improve my health, independence, or quality of life? So again, if you can answer yes to that, then it's a qualified expense. I did want to talk just briefly about the housing related expenses. And this is specifically for somebody who is receiving SSI. So if you are receiving SSI, if you want to use your CalABLE account for a housing related expense, you would need to make that withdrawal at the beginning of the month and spend it by the end of the month. So those would be expenses like rent, it could be utility bills, it could be insurance, any monthly related housing expense, you would need to withdraw it at the beginning of the month and spend it by the end of the month. And that is only if you are receiving SSI. If you are not receiving SSI, that stipulation is not something you need to be concerned about. I get asked for what isn't considered a qualified disability expense, and what we like to suggest is if it's used for gambling, anything related to gambling, or anything illegal. Those two items would not meet that definition of improving your health, independence, or quality of life. I will also mention here that we follow the federal guidelines So we are regulated by the IRS. So they would be reviewing these accounts if they wanted to audit a CalABLE account. It is not CalABLE that reviews the accounts. It would be someone from the IRS, just like they would review yours, my taxes, any of our taxes. So that's who would be reviewing these. And with that in mind, we do recommend that you do keep your receipts, just because you may need them for a future audit. We'll go to the next slide. So as you can see here, this is our website. This is calable.ca.gov. We are an online program, so you do have to go to the website calable.ca.gov to open an account. And you do want to make sure you see that little logo there in the corner, the ones with the hands, and it says CalABLE, then you know you are on the right site. So we'll go to the next slide. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Daniel. Daniel is with our program administrator, Vestwell, and he is going to really talk about all those questions that he hears so often being a part of our call center. So Daniel, I am going to let you take it from here. And again, thank you, Daniel, for being with us today on this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anne. Happy to be here. Going to share my screen. Hoping everybody can see my screen.
Yes, looks good.
Thank you, Madeline. I know the focus of our webinar today is around getting the answers to your questions, but we also want everyone, or we want to make sure everyone on the webinar today is familiar with where most, if not all, the answers to these questions lie. And like Anne said, that's the CalABLE website, calable.ca.gov. The website itself was designed with all of you on the webinar in mind, with focus on accessibility and ease of navigation. For anyone visiting the CalABLE website, and this is for anyone who is either an account owner, plans to open one, or anyone who's just curious about the program and wants to get as much information as they possibly can. The CalABLE website is the right place to start. And the menu at the top right corner of the website is the main point to begin any research, obtaining any information you need on the questions you have in mind. The menu itself was designed to provide easy access to all the sections you need access to get the information you need, from how it works, eligibility, age of adjustment, by the way, which is going up to 46. That's the age of eligibility. As of today, that age of eligibility is 26. I did see a question come through the chat around that. We designed this section of the website to provide as much information as possible for people who maybe don't qualify today, but would qualify effective January 1st, 2026, once that age of eligibility goes up to 46. This section of the site provides as much information as you need to prepare for that change if you think you'd be eligible. And instead of focusing on the slide I have here, I'm going to stop sharing my slide and switch to the actual website. That way we can focus on what we hope you're able to use as a tool to get answers to all the questions you have in mind. Bear with me here while I switch. Madeline, again, if you could confirm for me that everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
Great. So this is the menu I was referring to just a moment ago. Again, we have how it works, eligibility, age of adjustment, qualified expenses. I heard a number of you are saving for a number of things, and this is a question that comes up quite often. What can I use my money for? And that answer is simple. Almost everything that enhances your quality of life, ranging from education, employment, employment support, housing, transportation, assistive technology, and healthcare. So this section of the site provides almost all the information you would need to get a better understanding of what you can use the money in your CalABLE account for. We also have a contribution section under how it works, which gives you a better idea of how you can make contributions into your account, be it personal or reoccurring, and also utilizing some of the features and functionalities we have on the CalABLE site. Moving down under how it works, we also have gifting as an option. The holiday season is just around the corner. I want to say 3 months out. So it's important, I would say, for those of you who have accounts or plan on opening accounts, to visit this page and get as much information as you need in preparation for how you use your gifting page, sharing it with friends and family, and leaning on your community to support you in your journey, regardless of what it is that you're saving for. And the list of things on the CalABLE website goes further. Benefits, so general benefits of having a CalABLE account, investment option. I'll get into that a little bit more on the next part of this webinar. But we have a prepaid card, a section dedicated for a prepaid card, general information in the prepaid card. And then under resources, we have forms. So there are forms associated with owning and managing a CalABLE account. In some cases, you need a form to open an account. We have forms available on this section. There are cases where you may need to make adjustments to your account, and those adjustments require forms. All that can be found under the form section here. For example, if you recently got married and needed to change your name, that kind of update would require a name change form, which we make available on the website for you. And in addition to that, we have the program disclosure statement, which is the primary document developed for the CalABLE program, with details on every single aspect of the program for prospective or new account owners or anyone thinking of opening a CalABLE account. We always recommend, before you begin the process, going into the program disclosure booklet, going through the chapters, making sure any questions you have in mind, you can get those answers from there. And as always, if there's ever clarification needed, you can always reach out to us too. And then there's the events section on the CalABLE website, which details, upcoming events, like the webinar we're currently doing, and anything in the near future that's important for this community to be aware of is generally posted on that section of the website. Videos, as well as presentation forms from webinars like the one we're currently doing. In the next section of this webinar, I'd like to focus more on the FAQ section. It's another very useful tool on the CalABLE website for anyone looking for information. This is an easy directory, again, designed with all of you in mind, with ease of navigation. And at the top right below, we have here the search bar with blocks of topics that are very common with the team, frequently asked questions. So authorized legal representatives. So you can click on this option to get as much information as you need on that specific topic. It's broken down into small blocks or small bits that you can click on to get as much information as you need. And the theme is the same across the board for benefits, eligibility, all of these points, which by the way, I mentioned, also exist under our menu option in resources. And even using the search feature, you have the opportunity to search for things like investments, which by the way, there is a dedicated page for this. But anything that comes to mind can be searched in this space. How do I choose my investment options, right? You can start there with a lot of useful information for you, especially for someone opening a new account. Madeline, I see you went off mute there. Any questions that came up or anything to add?
We do have some people asking if you can speak a little louder.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was loud enough. I will increase the tone. But on the frequently asked questions page, again, as I was saying, you have access to the search functionality where you can search for specific themes, namely investment options, successor designated beneficiary, or disclosures of the program. This part of the website has been designed to make it easy for you to find the information you need without feeling overwhelmed by what's visible, and getting right to the answers you need for the questions you have in mind. The next part I'd like to focus on is a recently released feature. It's the CalABLE chat feature. It currently resides at the bottom right corner of the CalABLE website with the yellow question mark. This is another very useful tool, which we hope is going to ease the navigation of the site for account owners or prospective account owners. If you have questions in mind about how to open the account, general information you'd like to know before beginning the process, you can start here. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate by asking a simple question like, what is CalABLE? And give it a moment to respond. And Madeline, if you could let me know if the visual we have here is wide enough for everyone to see, but as you can see, the response, which was provided immediately by the chat functionality, giving you a general idea of what the program is, and also referring you to the website, which is the website in general, which we just talked about. And that's the same for any other questions you have in mind as you visit the site and you're trying to get a better understanding of the program. I saw questions about the fees. Let's see if we can get a response here. So what are the fees associated with the program? Let's wait for a response. And there we have it. The CalABLE program has the following fees. And just to put everyone's mind at ease, this functionality was designed, again, with you all in mind. And all the information it's pulling from is information that exists on the website. And it's being communicated to you in a secure way. There's a separate part of this that's accessible only to individuals or people who have CalABLE accounts. That part of it allows you to interact with an agent. And I'm going to stop sharing just so I can move to that portion for everybody to see. Bear with me. All right, I have an account loading up here. All right, go ahead and share my screen again. So as you can see, this is a disclaimer, by the way, this is a test account. This is not a real account, but a test account for Melanie, Kelly, and for the purpose of this test, as you can see, as soon as the account loads up, you get a reference to the gifting page. But the chat functionality also exists on the platform, where you can ask questions similar to what you would ask on the general website, either specific to the program or specific to your account, like where can I find my statements? It's thinking. Taking a little longer than I would expect. Hopefully the delay we're seeing here is just as a result of this being in a test region. But let me see if I can bounce back to our main website. All right, so you get some directional information on where you can find your statements. Not sure why not sure why our chat bot within the account is taking a little bit longer, and looks like I got an error message. But again, this is a test region. It will not behave this way for someone asking questions in a live environment. But what I was hoping to highlight is this functionality. We're in a situation where you needed to get specific account information as it relates to your individual account. You have the option to transfer the conversation to interact with a live person. Obviously, again, this is a test region, so we are not going to be connected with a real person. But just sharing this for the purposes of this webinar, to make sure everyone is aware, this is an option that exists on the platform. You can toggle between getting general information about the program, general information about your account, and specific information about your account, and where necessary, being transferred over to an agent for additional assistance. And I think that covers everything I was hoping to share today. Is there anything in addition we would like to focus on as far as the website is concerned, and the chat functionality?
Daniel, we did have a question in the chat, and we could probably talk about it here, about the prepaid card, how somebody would order a prepaid card. Is that possible for you to share that on your screen? I'm not sure. I know I'm putting you a little bit on the spot.
No, not at all. I believe I can use my test account to show everyone what it would look like for you to request a prepaid card. Bear with me, I'll share my screen again. So the process of requesting a prepaid card has to begin when you're logged into your account. So after you've established your account, if your account is brand new, it takes about 2 to 3 business days for all the necessary verifications to happen before you can request a prepaid card. But once that happens, you'll have this option at the bottom right corner here of your screen once you're logged into your account that says sign up with TrueLink. Now, TrueLink is the third party Vestwell works with in partnership with CalABLE to offer these prepaid cards. And once you click on the link, it takes you to the TrueLink website where you can select if you are the authorized legal individual or if you are the beneficiary, and then hit continue, where it's asking for all the information. So email address, password, first name, last name, all the same information you would have provided when opening your CalABLE account for the first time. And once all of this information is provided, it's submitted. It's an overnight process for that information to be updated through the systems. And within, I would say, 4 to 7 business days, you should expect to receive your physical prepaid card in the mail, at which point you can activate and fund if you've put money in your CalABLE account. Unfortunately, I cannot go through the entire process because this is a live environment for TrueLink, but the process to request your prepaid card starts directly from your overview and at the bottom right corner from sign up for a prepaid card.
Thanks, Daniel. And another question came up, and I think it's perfect because you're right on this screen. It's about adding contributions, how people can contribute to their account. I know they can, I don't know if you can show all those, but I think maybe even talking a little bit about the gifting page would be helpful for our attendees.
Yeah, absolutely. And contributions, another thing we talked about briefly, and general information again being available on the main website. And the reason I come to the website is just to point out that there's also a contribution form on their form section on the resources page. So if you set up an account and for whatever reason you are unable to make contributions directly from your bank account, there is a contribution form which you can fill out, match with a check, and mail to CalABLE. And assuming we receive the check with all the information that's required to make the deposit in good order, you can expect that check to be deposited into your account that same day. Now, if you've created your account and you have your bank account linked, and your intention is to make a contribution directly from your bank account, in this case, my test account doesn't have a bank account linked yet, but I'll go through the general process, which requires you to go to transfers, contributions. If you don't have a bank account, you would have to add one, either manually or by connecting the bank electronically. And once the bank account is added, you'll have the option to make a contribution by either doing it as a standard contribution or an able to work contribution. Now, standard contribution for 2025, 19,000. Able to work, if your employer or yourself are not making any contributions to a defined retirement program, $15,000. You can select whichever option applies to you in that moment, make the contribution, and it takes between 2 to 3 business days for the money to come out of your bank account into your CalABLE account. Now, very similar process for gift contributions, but this would apply to the gifter. There was a question that came through the chat, which I saw on, can other people make contributions to my CalABLE account? And the answer to that question is yes. If you've created your account, you can share your gifting page with them. And I'll show you what the gifting page looks like here. In the box below, you hit view gifting page. Let's cancel this out. And looks like my gifting page won't show just because I'm in the test region. That's fine. Just be aware, once you click on the view gifting page option, you're provided with the option to copy the link and you can share it with friends and family, either via text message, email, for them to just click on. And as of recently, they have the option to create their own profile where they can either make those contributions, those gift contributions to you on a reoccurring basis or on a one-time basis. But there's also a gifting form. So if you have grandparents who are maybe old school and prefer to send checks as gifts, CalABLE also has a gifting form, which can be found again from the calable.ca.gov website under resources and forms at the bottom. Under transactions and investments, we have the gifting form. It requires name of the beneficiary, the contributor's name, the account number, the amount that's being gifted, and that can all be folded into an envelope with the check. And similar to a contribution form, as long as it's received and everything looks good, you can expect that gift to be available in the account within the day that it was received.
Great. I know, Daniel, we talked about the mobile app kit, but can you just show that again one more time, just in case somebody came in late, about, the new mobile app that CalABLE has available on their phones that you can use on your phones?
Yeah, and I don't think I'd be able to share that on my screen here, but yes, CalABLE has a mobile app which is accessible from App Store or Google Play. You search CalABLE and you're able to download the app. Uh, as we're speaking about the app, one thing I should mention, the chat functionality is not available in the app. However, it's available on the calable.ca.gov website if you were visiting it from your phone. I'll pause there for a second just to see if I can stop sharing and find a closest version of what the app would look like from this test environment. And while I'm doing that, I'm happy to take any other questions as it relates to the tools and resources we have available.
Just a couple questions about allocating funds. Two questions really. Do you always have to allocate funds when depositing money into the account? And then also, can you change allocations later?
So do you always have to allocate funds when making contributions into the account? Yes. It's important for us to know where the money is going. There are, and I'll go share my screen here, going to the CalABLE website again. Bear with me. So there are a total of 8 investment options, if I'm not mistaken. And once you begin your enrollment process, you can go with the most conservative option if you need time to decide what options you want to diversify into. Or you can take the time you need to visit the site again to get a better understanding of what each investment option is, what the return rates are if you're interested, before making a decision on where to put that money. But when going through the enrollment process, it's important for us to know where the money should be going. If you're not exactly sure, you can always defer to, depending on your situation, either a risky option or a very safe option where you're earning interest. Totally up to you. But again, we have wealth of information available on the website to allow you to make an informed decision when it comes to selecting an investment option. And we have the historical performance is available on the CalABLE website, which is accessible from the plan resources at the bottom of the page. The third link takes you to the historical performance as of 7/31. You can see the income portfolio, conservative, income and growth, balance, conservative growth, moderate, and the growth portfolios. And I'm sorry, Ann, what was the second question regarding portfolios?
If you want to change options, so say you selected a few and now you decide that you wanted to change them, how easy is it to do that?
Yeah, that's a very easy process. And I was hoping I'd be able to show you in my account here. I believe I can. That process requires to go to your exchanges. Well, at the moment on my account, I don't have any contributions and I don't have a bank account, but that process starts from your investments and exchanges. There you will be directed to select where the money is coming from and where you want the money to go to. If you're moving from a very safe option like the FDIC where you earn interest to any of the other 7 investment options, you can select from the drop-down list, and you're allowed to make investment changes twice per calendar year. So the following year, if you need to make adjustments, you can always make those adjustments by going to the investment option.
So just a note here, Daniel, if someone only had one option, let's just say they selected FDIC insured, anytime they make deposits, it's going to automatically go into that account. So they wouldn't always have to go through and select, what investment option they would like. Can you pre-populate? Let's say you have like 4 different ways you're investing your money. Can you just pre-populate it so that every time you make a deposit, it just automatically is divided amongst your investment options?
Yes. So if you already have 4 investment options on your account, and you're making, let's say, a $1,000 contribution, it gives you the option to allocate the $1,000 based on what you already have on your account. So you can put, 500 here, 500 there, or however you would like based on what is available that you're already investing in. Or if you want to put money in something else that isn't part of what you're currently invested in. So it's a very flexible process. Any new money coming into the account is not tied to what you've invested in. You have the option to put it in other options out of the 8 that CalABLE offers.
So I guess the question would be, if you already have your pre-selected options, and let's say you have $1,000 that comes in every month, and let's say you divide it up 4 ways, 250 goes into each one of your accounts. You can just, and this, let's say it's a reoccurring contribution that comes in. So it just comes in direct deposit. At that point, you don't need to continually open it, right? It can just stay that way unless you wanted to change how you were diversifying those funds. It could just be already set. Is that correct?
That's correct. So for any reoccurring contributions, you don't need to make adjustments to your investment option. When you set what your investment options will look like for reoccurring contributions, it's an automated process. So the money's coming in and you've already set up how you would like it to be invested. And that's something you can always adjust. That's not considered an investment strategy change though. Because it's you just deciding where new money is going to into your account. And I want to be careful, we're speaking about investments in general, and I should disclose I'm in no way a financial advisor. So we are not in a position to tell you what to do with your money or how to invest. However, the CalABLE website provides all the information you need to help you make an informed decision when you're trying to decide where money should be allocated.
Great. Another quick question is, how long does it take to fund that prepaid card? So somebody says they want to put $50 on their prepaid card. How long does it take for that card to fund?
Yeah, similar to contributions that come in to the CalABLE account or go out of the CalABLE account, it's an ACH process, so an automated clearinghouse. So it takes between 2 to 3 business days for the money to move from your CalABLE account to your prepaid card.
Okay, well, that sounds great. I think we're going to go back to the presentation. I see
Yes.
Kathy coming back on. She's giving me the nod, and you need to continue with the presentation. So
Yes, and we will be doing some Q&A at the end. So we're going to take just a brief pause in this Q&A to go back to some reminders.
So just some quick reminders here. Let's see, our first one that we have is our call center. So if anybody has called our call center, you probably are familiar with that phone number, 833 CalABLE, and they are open Monday through Friday between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. or 833-225-2253. So certainly reach out to them. They are available there to assist you. We'll go to the next slide. As Daniel mentioned, it does take 2 to 3 days after you complete the application for your prepaid card, probably about 7 business days until you actually receive it. But we did want to just let you know that this is available for you. And as Daniel showed us, it's very simple. Once you're in the portal, you just go on and select you want to do a, oh wait, this isn't the right one. This is for, I apologize. This is if you want your account balance. I'm sorry. Yes, if you want to see what your account balance is, you would go to this slide right here, and then you would select which you want to view. We'll go to the next slide. So this is a really exciting slide. I wanted to let everyone know that tomorrow is National Able Savings Day. And I know we had a good percentage of you that are already CalABLE account holders. So we really appreciate you being account holders. And if you are, we would really encourage you to tell your friends about CalABLE. This is a day that has been set aside by the National Association of State Treasurers as a National Savings Day for ABLE. So we really encourage you to consider opening that CalABLE account tomorrow. And if you want more information about it, you can go to the CalABLE website, or you can even go to this one here, the nas.org National Able Savings Day website. And we will have a webinar next month. And this one is going to be a little different as we prepare for the Able Age Adjustment Act. As we've been telling you all year, that age of eligibility is going to increase to 46. So we are going to be talking about that. So if you know of somebody that would be eligible in January, I would ask that you share this information with them, have them join the webinar so they can be, getting prepared to open those accounts in January. And as Madeline mentioned earlier in the webinar, we do have a survey, and we really encourage everyone to fill this out. If there were some questions that we were not able to answer, maybe we were asking you to provide us your emails, whatever, please fill this out so we can get back to you and respond to those questions that may not be appropriate for this webinar. They may have some confidential information, so we do encourage you to complete that so we can answer those questions for you. And as always, we talk about our disclosure. Again, we do have those investment options. There is risk tied to all those options. And so we just want to call your attention to that with our disclosure statements here. And again, we thank you. I know we did a little Q&A with Daniel, but because you had your screen open, I wanted to take advantage of that while you were still in the screen. So Madeline, if you've got some additional questions you would like to uh, share, we're welcome to open those.
Sure. Well, I was actually wondering if Daniel, if maybe we would be able to test out the chat feature to try and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, of course. Let me share my screen. And if these are questions in the chat, you can tag me on them and I can copy and paste here.
Sure. I think that the first one I'd like to start with is one of our most frequently asked questions, which is what happens when the beneficiary passes away?
All right.
We get this every single webinar. So let's see if we can get some answers with the chat.
Sherry passes away. All right. There we have it.
Lots of information.
Pretty long answer, but lots of information. Obviously, I'm not going to read through all of this, but a quick summary of what has been shared in the chat here. When a beneficiary passes away, obviously, whatever funds are left in the account can be used for outstanding qualified expenses, be it medical, outstanding bills, or burial expenses. Once all those expenses have been covered, if there's anything left in the account, those funds can then be transferred to the estate of the beneficiary, if there's one. And the executor of that beneficiary's estate would facilitate that process. Now, if there is no estate and there is no executor, unfortunately, in situations like that, whatever is left in the account stays in the account and is at a later date escheated or sent to the state of California. That way, if there were any family existing that came up, they could claim those funds. That would be the simplest way to describe that process. A summary of the long answer you see on your screen.
Great, thank you. Now, another common question we receive is how does CalABLE work with a special needs trust?
Oh, let's see. How does CalABLE work with a special needs trust? Another very long, detailed answer with a lot of information. I think I can summarize this one as well. In general, special needs trust and able accounts go hand in glove. Um, Able accounts provide you the flexibility you need to use those funds as you need them, whereas special needs trust generally, trusts in general have restrictions within which they have to operate. There are cases where people establish trust, special needs trusts, where there are large sums of money, large sums that, by the way, cannot be held within a CalABLE account, but over time, move some of the money from the special needs trust, again, depending on the nature of the trust, from the special needs trust into the CalABLE account to meet their day-to-day needs and qualified expenses. So the best way to put it is they hand in hand. It costs more to have a special needs trust, or it costs more to set one up, whereas a CalABLE account on average costs you $30 a year.
Great, thank you, Daniel. I mean, I think the chat feature is really impressive. It provides a lot of information. So I think it's a great tool that, everybody should definitely check out.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And I do have a question that I don't think the chat can answer, which is how can you make a suggestion to CalABLE?
That's a great question. You can actually reach out to our website, calable.ca.gov, and that is the CalABLE inbox here at the State Treasurer's Office, and that comes directly to the staff here at CalABLE, and we always encourage any questions that you may have, or even suggestions of recommendations. So um, calable.ca.gov, and we can put that in the chat as well, right, Madeline? Yeah, it's in there right now.
Yes.
Madeline's put it in.
Yeah, I can add it again though,
We
just in
can
case anybody
always
joined
add it.
late. Okay, I see a question here where somebody actually did use the chat bot and they asked, I am planning to buy myself a Mickey Mouse shirt because I love Mickey Mouse and it makes me feel happy. Is this a qualified expense? And what the chat said was, I'm just going to read the first part, was purchasing a Mickey Mouse shirt for personal enjoyment and happiness may not clearly fall under the categories of qualified expenses unless it can be demonstrated that it helps maintain or improve the health, independence, or quality of life of the person living with the disability. So, Anne, maybe you could touch on why the chat answered that way, and if you're asking about like specific qualified expenses, why it might answer that way.
Great question, Madeline, and I will do my best to figure out why the chat answered it that way. I would say it's very difficult to have a single purchase item. As you saw earlier in the presentation, we had categories, and that's pretty much how those expenses are defined. They are defined in those categories. We had that one category that said other, and that's perfect for this because a Mickey Mouse t-shirt is an other type item. It's not a food related expense, not education related, but it's a clothing item. I think anyone can say that purchasing clothing is going to improve your health, independence, or quality of life. So I think when you have those item specific questions, it may be a little more difficult for the chat box to give you a definitive answer just because those categories are so broad. So again, just thinking of those three things whenever you're going to make a purchase, is it going to improve your health, your independence, or quality of life? If you answer yes to one of those, then you can make that purchase.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
I was just going to say that's a great answer. And I want to add and emphasize, because I know I mentioned this earlier, the chat bot pulls all its responses from already available existing resources on the calable.ca.gov site and other resources that we've developed specific to CalABLE for it to pull from. And to Anne's point, all those resources never go into specifics as to what would be a qualified expense. It always goes by those broad categories.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we always encourage when you're thinking about those specific expenses, just think, does it improve health, independence, or quality of life? So for example, somebody asked about business expenses in the Q&A, and so does it improve your quality of life? Then yes, would be likely a qualified expense. And another question for you, somebody was diagnosed after age 26. Are they eligible, but their disability started before age 26?
Great question, Madeline. Again, it's when did the disability actually occur? And it could have been diagnosed after age 26. A classic example would be, and I could actually use Thomas Martin, our executive director, who has autism. And Thomas has had autism, but he found out about CalABLE after he was over the eligible age. But the diagnosis is something that occurred when he was a young child. So I mean that is something that we know occurs when people are born or soon after they're born. So even though You may not get a formal diagnosis until after the age of 26. It's when did that disability actually occur? So you can be 2 years old, you can be 80 years old. It's really when did that disability actually occur? That's the key here. It's not how old you are when you open the account. It's when did the disability actually occur?
Great, thank you. Daniel, I have a question for you. So there are some questions in Spanish in the Q&A. So if somebody has a question in another language, how can they get their answer, the answer to their question?
They can post the question into the chat in the language that they speak. If it's a Spanish question, it's going to respond to you in Spanish. If it's a French question, it will respond to you in French. That's a great question, something I definitely should have mentioned.
Great, thank you. And here's a question for you. Does CalABLE impact the FAFSA or student financial aid?
I do not. I believe the answer is no. It's been a while since I've looked at that. I would have to take that back. I see Thomas popping in. Thomas, do you have an answer for that one?
Yes, yeah. Anything in an able account is exempt from FAFSA or any other education financial aid program that's managed by the state or federal government. So it's automatically exempt, so you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Thank you, Thomas.
Great, thank you. And Thomas, while I have you on here, we have been receiving some questions about Medi-Cal. So does the amount in a CalABLE account impact Medi-Cal?
Right. Yes. Beginning January 1, Medi-Cal will have an asset limit of $130,000. That's going to be the standard limit for most cases. So meaning for an individual to qualify for Medi-Cal benefits, generally they would have to have $130,000 or less in assets to qualify. So that's going to be a new limit again starting January 1. However, CalABLE accounts are exempt. So anything in the CalABLE account is exempt up to the full 529,000 you could have in a CalABLE account. Every dollar of that is exempt and would not count towards Medi-Cal eligibility. So if you're concerned about maintaining Medi-Cal eligibility and you're worried about how to manage or protect your assets, CalABLE is probably the answer that you'd want. So you can put your money in the CalABLE account and still keep Medi-Cal. And another benefit from it is that CalABLE is also exempt in most cases from Medi-Cal estate recovery. So anyone who's familiar with Medi-Cal estate recovery knows that can wipe out basically, and someone's estate at the time of death, because Medi-Cal benefits are, can be quite expensive. But again, CalABLE accounts are in most cases exempt. We have some more information on our website, but in most cases exempt from it, which means that if someone receiving Medi-Cal were to die, money they have in the CalABLE account in most cases can go to to their beneficiary, to their inheritors.
Great, thank you, Thomas. I also wanted to just take this time really quickly to share some additional resources. So for those asking about, Medi-Cal and the FAFSA and Section 8 housing, we do on the CalABLE website have letters from those organizations. So you'd go to the menu, and then there's the resources tab here, which you can click on, and then under quick links, you can find more information regarding these benefits programs. So we have a lot of information on the CalABLE website, so definitely check that out. Okay, now back to some questions. So Anne, is there a minimum contribution to open an account?
The minimum contribution is actually $25, and that is actually considered a deposit. So you would open your account with $25, although we do recommend that you make an additional deposit probably within the first 6 months of opening that account. As I mentioned earlier, there is a $30 annual fee. So you want to make sure that your account stays funded. So again, just making an additional deposit 6 months after you open your account is recommended.
Great, thank you, Anne. Here's an interesting question. Does CalABLE work with the Inland Regional Center?
We have done presentations with Inland Regional Center. Yes, we've actually done presentations with all the regional centers throughout the entire state of California. So I would say, yes, we have worked with them in the past. And I'm not sure if we have any scheduled upcoming, but we have done quite a few presentations actually with Inland Regional Center.
Yes, and if you're part of any community groups, nonprofits, and you want a CalABLE presentation, you can send us an email at the calable@treasure.ca.gov email address, and we can certainly get one set up for you. Okay, let's see. And is there a gifting limit?
The gifting limit would be the $19,000, the amount that somebody can put in the CalABLE account in this calendar year. A gift would be considered a third-party contribution. So if somebody wants to gift somebody $19,000 this year, they certainly are able to do that.
Great, thank you, Anne. Let's see. And how does taxes work with CalABLE? Do you have to pay taxes or expenses? Will you get tax forms?
Oh, I love that question. You do not have to pay any taxes if you're withdrawing money from your CalABLE account, as long as you're using it for those qualified expenses. Again, as you keep hearing us say, is that expense related to your health, independence, or quality of life? If you're answering yes to that, then you're not going to be paying any taxes or penalties for withdrawals. If you're using it for something that would not be considered a qualified expense, then you would be subject to taxes. So always just keep that in the back of your mind when you're withdrawing those. As far as if you're keeping it in and it's earning interest and growing over time, that's what's really nice about these accounts is you do not pay taxes on that. They are tax exempt. You will receive a tax form. I forget what that's called, the number. You will receive that at the end of the year, but that's really something you just check off on your return that you have a CalABLE account. It's a box. You don't pay any additional taxes. It's just really an information for the Internal Revenue Service. Daniel, did I miss anything?
No, I was just gonna give the name of the forms, the 1099 QA, which outlines any withdrawals that are made from the CalABLE account, and then the 5498 QA, which you receive as long as their contributions going into the account.
Great, thank you. Daniel, I do have a question for you. So can SSI be direct deposited into a CalABLE account? And what about salaries? And then also, how would you do that if it's possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So SSI, yes, and it's exciting to say CalABLE is one of very few programs across the nation offering this option, where account owners can receive their SSI direct deposits or SSI funds direct deposited into their CalABLE account. And the process of setting that up requires you to log into your account and go into the direct deposit options. So you have SSI direct deposit, or To the second part of the question, you had, can you receive your salary? Yes, you can receive your salary directly into your CalABLE account as a direct deposit. You would need to set that up through the same process, through the direct deposit option on your CalABLE account. It requires you to select how you want the money that's being received to be allocated. Confirm your CalABLE account number and a routing number, which you provide to your employer. Or if you have access to your employer's HR system, you can just enter your account number and the routing number that's required. And on the next pay cycle, whatever amount you have elected will come through from your paycheck directly into your CalABLE account. One thing to note, you can only have one at a time. So you can only have SSI direct deposits or payroll direct deposits. We're working to have this be an option where you can have both. But for now, you can have only one at a time.
Great, thank you. And I will say I went into the chat feature and I just typed in direct deposit and it pulled up the step-by-step instructions for how to do it. So very useful. And then of course you can always call the customer service center as well at 833 CalABLE if you would like assistance with any of those account management issues. Thomas, I'd like to bring you back on for a second. Is he?
Come on.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, great. There you are. Okay. So we have received a few questions actually in the Q&A about retirement accounts. So can you contribute to both a retirement account like a Roth IRA or 401k and also contribute to a CalABLE account? Do they impact each other at all?
Sure, yes, you can contribute to both. It's probably a great idea if you can. So yeah, there's no limitation on it. You can contribute to any other account and also contribute to CalABLE account at the same time. One thing to keep in mind, if you and your employer do not contribute to a retirement account in a calendar year, you may be eligible to contribute more money into your account through the able to work option. So we have a bit more information on our website under able to work. But again, that's a scenario that's open if neither you nor your employer contributes to a retirement account that year. But otherwise, yeah, contribute. Save more ways to save money is always good.
Great, thank you. And Thomas, here's another question. How do you, or what information would you use to select a portfolio for your CalABLE account?
Sure. So as Daniel had mentioned, we can't provide we can't provide financial advice. However, we do have information available for you. So for one thing, we have our program disclosure statement, which is at the bottom of our website, that has a lot of detail about the different funds and how they work. But that can get pretty complicated. So if you are a financial expert or if you really want to do some homework, you can look at that. However, we also have more simplified information on our website. So at the top of our website, if you click on investment options, thank you. I was about to share my screen. If you click on investment options at the very top of our website, it'll take you to more information about not only how to choose the different investment options, what kind of things to think about, but also has more details about what each of those options are, what they look like, what they're comprised of, so stocks and bonds and securities. And so you can keep in mind there are 7 that are tied directly to, stocks and bonds and market performance. And then there's an 8th option, the FDIC account portfolio. We also call it the cash option. That one is more similar to a savings account in that, again, it's FDIC protected, FDIC insured, and also it has an interest rate. It's an interest-bearing account. One more thing I'll mention is there's an option here for view historical performance. So if you're curious about how each of those options have performed, You can see all 7 of those the investment portfolios listed in the table with the cash option underneath showing the interest rate that it's currently at. So you'll want to keep in mind historical performance does not guarantee future performance. But that should give you some idea of at least what has happened to date over different time frames.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. And then you mentioned the disclosure, so I'll just show people really quick where to find it. You can find it right here and click on that. And then also, sometimes the chat will actually give you a link to the disclosure if it's relevant as well. Okay, well, I think we're at time. If we didn't answer your question, definitely use the post-webinar survey. Sometimes the answer or the questions are a little bit about personal situations, so it may take a little bit of time for us to think about it before answering. So definitely send it in the post-webinar survey or send us an email as well. And I'll turn things back over to Anne to finish the webinar.
So yes, I want to thank everyone today for their participation. Really enjoyed having this a little extra time for Q&A. Sometimes we don't always get it. So I really want to thank Daniel today from being here from Vestwell. Hopefully this will make your life a little bit easier when you're looking for answers to questions. We've shown you quite a few ways to find those answers. Going to the frequently asked questions. As you can see, the chat feature is really active and very accurate, I would say. Being able to demonstrate that today, I think was really helpful. We haven't been able to show you that new feature. And I just want to thank our interpreters, our ASL, our captioners, and also our Spanish. Thank the CalABLE team, Madeline, who's been helping us with questions. Maria, you don't usually see her as much, but she's as valuable. And of course, Thomas, for being on this webinar with us today. And Daniel, again, just a great shout out to you. And I'm going to say his name wrong. Sanan, yes. Sanan is actually with Vestwell. He hasn't been on too many of our webinars. I think he's learning how these things work. So we really thank Sanan for being there, helping us answer some of those questions behind the scenes. So again, thank you so much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you next month in September, where we will be discussing able age adjustment and some really exciting stuff that CalABLE is going to be venturing into at the end of this year, beginning of next year. So thank you again and have a great afternoon.